over twice, the Raiders once, but look at the total yard numbers. 283 for Denver to just 82 total yards in the first half for the Raiders. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. So the Raiders get the ball first in the second half by virtue of having deferred after winning the toss. What do you expect them to come out with?
Well, first they have to get the ball moving. They had 8 possessions. 5 of those 8 possessions were 3 and outs. They need to get first down, so you have to get the run game going a little bit. That hasn't been their strength this year. Get the play action pass. Get Derek Carr on the move. Get him outside. He's been under pressure these last few series. Get him outside the pocket where he can make some plays with his feet and push the ball up the field.
It would seem that a good start to the second half would be imperative for the Raiders. Let's check in with Evan Washburn downstairs. Evan.
Well, Greg, that was exactly the message from Tony Sparano when I spoke to him. It all starts with the offense. He understands the margin for error is so slim when you're playing Peyton Manning. I also spoke with John Fox. He felt the difference was that they just settled down. They started executing, especially the offensive line, figured out what the Raiders were doing up front, batting out all those passes. Really thought that C.J. Anderson play obviously changed momentum. But for the Raiders, it all starts and ends offensively, according to Sparano.
All right, Evan, thank you. The kick through the end zone, and the Raiders will start. Now here are some penalty markers flying, several of them. That's the guy who caught the
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57 of the receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Well, that's Ray Armstrong, a linebacker, and that is probably what Tony Sparano did not need.
Yeah, when you come out, the ball's out of the end zone, get the ball at the 20, now all of a sudden you're back at the 10, and 57 right here, he's going to get the late hit, and he's coming over, and this is where the hit's going to be on, and no need for it, no return.
So now Carr and the Raiders starting from their own 10, and that's good for a couple of yards straight ahead. Darren McFadden. 8 possessions in the first half for the Raiders and 5 3-and-outs.
And then all of a sudden you're going to get a personal foul to move them back even more. So not doing yourself any favors.
On 2nd and 8, the quick slant, that doesn't work. Pass intended for James Jones, covered by Bradley Roby, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, and Roby is climbing all over Jones's back. You can see why the Raiders sideline was looking for a penalty. No penalties thrown, so good breakup, good defense.
Raiders sideline is sure looking thin in personnel, isn't it?
We talked about coming into this game, they were thin in the secondary, and then they had a couple guys banged up in the first half. They were able to return, but Denver is not the team you want to be banged up in the secondary just because of how many weapons they have.
Carr under pressure, pushes it out to a lineman, Khalif Barnes. The ball is loose and is down at about the 17-yard line, covered by Chris Harris of the Broncos.
So it's going to be an illegal forward pass, but then if you're a lineman, all of a sudden you're running with the ball. Do you see him? He's swinging it with one arm. I mean, it was, just secure it.
Illegal touching, number 69 of the offense. That player subsequently fumbled the ball, and it was recovered by the defense. That penalty is therefore declined. First down, Denver.
That is disaster right off the bat.
So this is where it's going to have happen. It's going to be
Carr.
Well, I guess it was the left guard. It wasn't the right guard. So yeah, it was Barnes that he caught the ball and he tried after he's running up the field. He tries making a move with it, which sometimes it's good to know your limitations. Watch this. He swings the ball out to the right and tries making a cut and a stiff arm and everything else.
I'm just going to take a guess and say that didn't come out of the offensive playbook.
Yeah, he had flashbacks maybe to his youth days when he was a running back. Not the type of start to the second half that Raiders were looking for.
So from the 18-yard line, Manning and the Broncos set up. Quick pass to the near side. Emmanuel Sanders to the 13.
Late flag comes in.
Flag of the play. Carl Sheffers.
Prior to the pass, number 64 offense was illegally downfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's center Will Montgomery. So Derek Carr, what happened on that is the rookie just appeared to panic and throw the ball to any black jersey that he saw.
Well, as you're going down and knowing you're inside your own 10-yard line, he's trying to get it out of his hands, just flip and make a play. And as you said, Greg, flipping it to an offensive lineman, best thing for the O-lineman to do is to just take it and bat it down. It becomes an incomplete pass, but that's not something you go over.
Hillman, left side, run out of bounds, shy of the 20-yard line by C.O. Moore. Yeah, you know, it's one thing if a quarterback sees someone out of the corner of his eye. It's quite another when an offensive lineman knows he's not an intended receiver.
Well, he looked at it. You see me caught the ball, and he looked at it like, okay, what do I do? I guess I better take off running. So once he caught it and realized that he shouldn't have the ball in his hands, then he had no choice other than to go down. Instead, he had flashbacks to running back.
Second and 13. Manning throwing far side of the field. Welker banged out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Miles Burris and Larry Asante converging. That's Asante. Number 42, the third-year defensive back out of Nebraska. 3rd and 2 now.
The Raiders have been good at this part of the field as far as stopping Denver on third downs to force field goal attempts. The 2 scores for Denver have been out towards midfield.
Manning changing things up.
You got one-on-one down here at the bottom of the screen with Julius Thomas.
Looking that way, throwing on the slant. Thomas, touchdown, Denver.
You know, a lot of times when Peyton Manning's doing all that stuff at the line of scrimmage, a lot of it is just for the defense. It's not even doing anything for the offense. All he's trying to do is to get the defense to commit. And here at the bottom of the screen, you see number 80, we pointed it out. He just gets a slant route. There's clear routes on the inside. Defensive players will be yelling for Sanders on a pick route there. But man-to-man coverage, Manning was able to recognize that, knew where the matchup was that he wanted to take advantage of.
When we talked with Julius Thomas last night, he quite possibly was the happiest guy we talked to all weekend long. Wonder if he knew it was coming. Julius Thomas, his 11th touchdown catch of the year. 27-10 Broncos. All of those number 80 Julius Thomas jerseys, that's the Julius Thomas contingent from nearby Stockton, California. Celebrating number 80's touchdown catch. 27-10 Denver. And Latavius Murray will run this one out from 2 yards deep. Across the 20 out to the 25-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown.
We got Wells Welker who's going to be on the inside. He's just going to run a corner route to get out of the way. Sanders is going to come up here and get in the way so the defender runs into him. And then you got the underneath route by Julius Thomas. You see Sanders, he just gets in the way. He's not going up and blocking him. He's just getting in the way of the defender being able to follow him through. And then
here you go, peeps.
And then a little flip in the. Here's the family touchdown ball right there.
A little flip to James Jones, and Jones going nowhere. Chris Harris Jr., the first one to make contact. Here's Julius Thomas. I was saying before we went to commercial, Trent, he was the happiest guy we talked to all weekend. Just a jolly big guy. And hey, I'm all for guys that big being jolly.
Well, and he had talked it wasn't necessarily his frustration, but he talked about the last couple of games, how offensively they hadn't gotten him involved in the game plans early because he is such an X factor from an offensive standpoint. How our defense is going to match up on him, and he said they were utilizing him that way, which ultimately didn't get him involved as well.
That pass is complete out to about the 29-yard line to Marcel Reese. He said, you know, sometimes you're needed to throw a little chip block, and if we need a little extra protection, that's me. And he kind of felt left out on occasion.
And he did. And he said, just like anybody, you want to be involved in the game plan early. You just, you know, he used the word antsy. He said you start going through the game, you don't get the ball initially, you get a little antsy wanting to get the ball. And he felt the last couple weeks he hadn't been, getting that ball early. And today he's taking full advantage.
Carr throwing down the middle of the field, and that's incomplete, intended for Denarius Moore. And the Raiders will punt it away.
We talked about it the first half, 8 possessions, 5 3 and outs. They come out here, the first possession, they get the turnover, they have the turnover, and the second possession is a 3 and out. So offensively, just having struggled so far today, they haven't even totaled 90 yards of total offense. Their points coming off of Denver's 2 turnovers.
One more thing about Julius Thomas with 11 touchdown catches. He hasn't been ignored too much.
A lot of that came early, though. You're right, and it also, when you have those kind of touchdowns, you're going to draw more attention from the defense as well.
Isaiah bursts, not going to advance past the 30-yard line, and we have penalty markers down. Back upfield.
During the kick, holding number 52 receiving team, half the distance to the goal, first down. Timeout.
Nelson is guilty of the hold, so that'll back the Broncos up. Broncos and Raiders, great names, great faces, great numbers, great football during the years.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. And by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill.
Back in Oakland, Manning and the Broncos from their own 19-yard line. Leading 27-10. Play fake to Hillman. Manning stepping up, sideline pass, complete, and out of bounds, Demaryius Thomas. Hey, tonight, 60 Minutes goes to the Ebola hot zone to see how the Americans fighting the outbreak are doing, plus actor Steve Carell. Tonight, only CBS. In Oakland today, Executive Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager John Elway, a fairly decent quarterback in his day. Ronnie Hillman. And Ronnie Hillman is run over by C.O. Moore. It would seem if these Raiders are going to get a spark, it's going to have to come from the defense.
It is, and the linebackers, we touched on that early in the game. The young linebackers flying around the field. Here's C.O. Moore right here. He's going to come through and make the tackle. Nice job by Tuck at the point of attack, occupying 2 offensive players and giving a lane for C.O. Moore to get in the backfield and come up with a big stop.
They've got to find a way to just stop Peyton Manning early in drives and get the ball back. 2nd and 13. Manning throwing far side of the field. Little screen for Demaryius Thomas, and Thomas across the 40, tripped up by Larry Asante.
Well, let's look a little bit about what Peyton Manning, the first interception of the game, he threw into triple coverage. Here you can get isolated at the top of your screen just on a quick wide receiver screen. But Peyton Manning, after that first interception, trying to push the ball up the field into coverage, he's really settled down. He's had a lot of quick throws, and then when he's had the one-on-ones, the touchdown to Emmanuel Sanders down the sideline, the touchdown to Julius Thomas, he's been able to take advantage of the one-on-ones and really getting the ball out of his hands nicely since the beginning of the game.
This is C.J. Anderson with running room across midfield and close to the 40-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 41. Derek Carr can only look on and wish for the football. C.J. Anderson's had himself a day.
With Monte Ball not playing today, Ronnie Hillman getting dinged up a little bit. C.J. Anderson doing a good job running the football. 6 carries, 68 yards. Giving good balance to that offense.
Play clock now approaching 5 on the snap. The give is to Anderson. And Anderson to about the 37-yard line. And Manning now looking like he can pick and choose because most everything he's doing is working.
Well, and you do. When you have the things going offensively the way they are, you have the lead, the 17-point lead, and you can keep the defense off balance. Plus, the defense has lost a little spark. You start punching them in the mouth a few times, get in the end zone, and things aren't working, especially those missed tackles that happen earlier right before the half. It really does take a punch to the gut to the defense, and Manning is very dialed in on how he wants to attack him now.
Anderson again. Wrestled down at the 35 by Khalil Mack. We have markers down on the field.
Tripping, number 84 offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Jacob Tammy, the tight end, guilty of that.
So Khalil Mack was the one able to get in on the play. He gets upfield, but then he's able to come off and make the tackle. He gets good pressure, and he's able to shed the block and come off and do a nice job with that. You can understand why the Raiders are excited about him, the talent that he brings, the speed that he brings. And
we're saying he's probably the best defensive player in the league with no stats.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people don't recognize the quarterback hurries or the pressures up the field, or you get up the field and you make the running back cut back in where your other guys make the tackle. And really, he's been able to do a lot of those things.
On 2nd and 16, out of the backfield is Hillman. Hillman up the sideline and bounced out of bounds just about the 40-yard line by Terrell Brown.
On 2nd and long, the Raiders drop into coverage and rally and come up and make that tackle, only rush 4.
On the quick snap, Manning throwing far sideline, and that is complete to Demaryius Thomas. And Thomas looks like about a half-yard short of a first down.
Well, and this is that range where you go for it on 4th down.
And they are up to the line in a hurry. Manning on 4th and 1. Quick snap. Going to keep it and throw it and complete it to the 20. Julius Thomas to the end zone for the touchdown.
Julius Thomas.
Peyton Manning, his 4th touchdown pass of this game.
Well, this one's going to be on the veteran Charles Woodson. He's lined up over Julius Thomas. He's right here, and Thomas is going to come leaking out into the flat. He bites down just that one step, that one hard step. He's able to jump up and try and get the tip pass, but the height of Julius Thomas and the touch that Peyton Manning puts on the football, there's no chance there. There's nobody left home to make that tackle.
Extra point is good, and with 6:52 to play in the 3rd quarter, the Broncos, the head of steam, 34-10. Of Peyton Manning's last 9 passes, he's completed all 9, 4 of them for touchdowns. 2 of them to number 80, Julius Thomas.
I'd say he settled down after those 2 interceptions. They didn't rattle him too much.
Latavius Murray.
That's not shocking, is it?
Across the 15 to about the 18-yard line. 6:45 to play in the 3rd. A beautiful look at the Bay Bridge. It's about all that's beautiful for the Raiders so far.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC, the world's best chicken. How do you, KFC? And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Welcome back on 1st down from the 18-yard line. Derek Carr and the Oakland offense looking for any kind of a spark. Going to go deep. Throwing into coverage, incomplete. 1 Raider, 4 DBs downfield. Vincent Brown, the intended receiver.
Terrence Knighton is able to get pressure up the middle, and Derek Carr is going to take a shot. You watch Knighton, he's coming right up the middle, and as he steps into the throw, as Derek Carr steps into the throw, he's going to take right in the ribs.
Oh. Terrence Knighton, owner of one of the great nicknames in all of sports. This is Marcel Reese. And Reese pushing and being pushed across the 20 to about the 21-yard line.
And as a quarterback, when you take that kind of a shot, it really just takes the wind out of you and causes those ribs to expand a little bit, if not break. So tough guy Derek Carr being able to deal with that, jump right back up and get after it.
Latavius Murray in the backfield now on 3rd and 7. And here come the Broncos, and down he goes, and that's Von Miller. And we have a flag.
I think we use the hands to the face. Number 29 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
So Bradley Roby's penalty just negates what Von Miller accomplished, and it's a first down for the Raiders.
Von Miller right in the middle of your screen, 58, comes on the spin move. You're going to see him now. This is after the spin move, but he's able to, he's able to get right across Barnes' face. We showed it earlier in the game. That spin move has been so effective for him. Negated because of the penalty.
Carr, throw, complete. Murray across the 30 to about the 32-33 yard line. Brandon Marshall with the tackle. Only 5 first downs all day for the Oakland Raiders.
And really right now, that's what you have to try. You just need to try and get some first downs. Get something positive. Get it going for next week. First downs, get in scoring position, just do some positive things from an offense. As you know, they're sitting here at 100 yards halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Carr to a wide open on the near sideline, James Jones. And that looks like that'll be enough for a first down. And a reminder for you, Week 10 continues with the Bears and the Packers on Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for the Panthers and Eagles on Monday Night Football on ESPN. So Carr pretty much staying exclusively in the air now. Sideline pass, a little bit too far for Jones to reach.
Number 89, James Jones, intended receiver.
It's kind of been that type of day for the Raiders so far offensively. That time having a shot up the field, and just off his fingertips, there have been a few plays where they've just a few inches away. See the safety coming over to the top. You got to try and hit that. There's a void along the sideline when you've got to cover 2 looks where you can get that ball in there. And Quentin Carter coming over the top for the Broncos.
So 2nd and 10. Carr under pressure, throwing, complete to the tight end, Michael Rivera. You're talking about trying to get some momentum going, if not for the rest of today, but certainly for the coming weeks. In the next 2 weeks, Oakland plays the other 2 divisional rivals. They travel to San Diego next week, then they host the Kansas City Chiefs the week after.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for them. They have one of the toughest, if not the toughest schedule remaining on their who they have coming up. So it doesn't get any easier. And as you say, Greg, Raiders just need to get something going to try and do a positive going into next week.
3rd and 5, he's intercepted by T.J. Ward. T.J. Ward. Let's see if they mark him out of bounds back upfield. Right now, he's being marked out inside the 15-yard line. The Raiders say it was a lot sooner than that. But T.J. Ward with his first interception of the season.
You'll see T.J. Ward, number 43 on the right side of your screen. That ball just comes out too low from Derek Carr.
He was out of bounds, yep.
Derek Carr throws that ball too low. You got to place it up higher.
And the penalty, the challenge flag has been thrown by Tony Sperano.
There's the foot out of bounds.
On Oakland for throwing a flag, challenge flag, when they are not able to do so. That will cost them their first charge timeout.
So the automatic review superseded by Tony Sperano's flag, and he got called for it. Carl Cheffers with the decision.
After review, the defender did intercept, but stepped out of bounds at the 34-yard line. It will be Denver's ball, 1st and 10 at that spot. The Raiders are charged with their first timeout for throwing the challenge flag when they're not able to do so.
That's a coach just forgetting that the play is going to automatically be reviewed.
Yeah, really what you need to do if you want to challenge it is just call the timeout, which they're going to give you the timeout back when they go to review it. Other than the review in the booth, when they go to review it on the sideline, they give it back.
The game clock to 3:50, 3:50, please.
So we're going to adjust the game clock, which I have a funny feeling can't move fast enough for the Oakland Raiders. Go for it all. Down the near sideline, it is incomplete. DJ Hayden covering Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. Number 25, DJ Hayden.
This is a similar play that they got the touchdown earlier to Emmanuel Sanders. DJ Hayden getting beat down the right sideline. This time Demaryius Thomas is matched up, and Hayden is able to stay with him and get his head turned around, and nearly comes up with the interception.
DJ Hayden has played very well today. 2nd and 10. Manning throwing. That's complete to Thomas. And Thomas inside the 25 to about the 22. Incidentally, we are told that Menelik Watson, offensive lineman for the Raiders, has gone to the locker room with an injury. So a new set of downs at the 23-yard line for Manning and the Broncos. Anderson takes the hit inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Demaryius Thomas. Not a bad day. For the 6th straight game, 100 receiving yards. And the 8th player in NFL history with 6 straight such games in a single season.
You can see him closing in. Calvin Johnson has the NFL record with 8 straight games, so only a couple games away for him. And just look at the weapons that Peyton Manning has at his disposal. All of them getting involved today.
That quick pass to Emmanuel Sanders. And that will be enough for a first down. DJ Hayden came off the field a short while ago. And has not returned. First down at the 12. And whistles and movement on the offensive line.
False start, number 74 offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Second call today on Orlando Franklin.
And Greg, that's the 3rd offensive procedure call that they've had, and it's very uncharacteristic for this offense to have procedural issues. I know there's been a reshuffling on the offensive line, but it's a group of veteran guys that generally that doesn't happen with.
You saw Hayden being looked at on the sideline. Nico Thorpe was in for him. 1st and 15. Manning, flipping it to Anderson, and Anderson bumped out of bounds short of the 15-yard line by Larry Asante. And C.J. Anderson limping on the sideline. And Juwan Thompson replaces him. 2nd and 13. 43 passing attempts for Manning today. Here's number 44. Over the middle, end zone, touchdown, Sanders. Five touchdown passes on the day for Peyton Manning.
I just got through talking about the weapons that Peyton Manning has at his disposal, and the way as a defense, which one are you going to cover, which one are you going to double team, and it makes it real tough for a defense to determine that.
1:01 to play in the third quarter.
Sanders going down the middle, but you got two defenders over here because you got Julius Thomas up top. You got Demarius Thomas going out wide here. So who are you going to cover? And right here, Charles Woodson gets a little wide and allows the middle of the field to get open, and Peyton Manning recognizes it. And when you have that many weapons at the disposal like Peyton Manning does, how are you going to defend that? Who are you going to run with? And that's why they've been effective with the running game. So far today, Denver has been running the ball very effectively with C.J. Anderson, 8 carries for 77 yards. And when you're able to balance it with the run and the pass, and then you're able to get those guys up the field, it really puts the defense in a tough spot.
I thought it was really interesting, and again, we've referenced it earlier. The attitude that Peyton had when he came into our meeting. He spent his week refocusing himself and his offense because he didn't at all like what happened at New England last week.
And he gave a lot of credit to New England, and he gave a lot of credit to them defensively. And we said, what would you going back and looking at it, where you brought this up to him. You said, were you a little hard on yourself in your post-game comments? He said, not at all. I didn't play well enough. I was disappointed with how I handled it, and give New England credit for the game plan they had. It just, like we touched on earlier in the game, he was very focused about what went on last week and how he wanted to play today. And he came out pressing a little bit, at least I thought he did, especially with that first interception, throwing it into triple coverage. But he's since calmed down, obviously, and with 44 pass attempts and 31 completions, he's Peyton Manning what we expected.
Hey, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS features regional games, including these Broncos traveling to St. Louis to meet the Rams. Also, the Bengals visit the Saints. Trent and I will be down in New Orleans for that one. Or the Raiders face the Chargers. All begins at noon Eastern time. JB and company on the NFL Today. That's all next Sunday here on CBS. These guys in the studio are having way too much fun. Way too much fun. 1 minute 1 second remaining. Carr throws over the middle, hit as he was throwing. Incomplete. Let's check in with Evan downstairs.
Well, guys, 2 injury updates to fill you in on. Melnick Watson, you saw him head to the locker room. The right tackle is being evaluated for a concussion. And then DJ Hayden came to the sideline, slammed his helmet down, is in a ton of discomfort. It's his left groin. They're listing him as a questionable return. This is a player who's dealt with a ton of injuries over the course of his career. Thanks,
Evan, and as we said, has played very well today. 2nd and 10. On the quick slant, popped up in the air and almost intercepted. Brandon Marshall almost got his hands on it, couldn't quite reach it. It'll be 3rd and 10.
The slant on the outside, and Aqib Talib with the collision. We haven't brought up Aqib Talib's name very often today. That may be the first time I've talked about him all day. Just they haven't been able to get the ball to that side of the field, and defensively, the pressure that they've been applying to Derek Carr and causing him to throw a lot of crossing routes underneath.
3rd and 10. Derek Carr now just flinging it on every down, throwing far side of the field. Dive incomplete. Bryce Butler couldn't come up with it. And it'll be another punt for the Raiders.
Now you start wondering if you're Denver, at what point in time do you put Brock Osweiler in the game and start getting him some work? Peyton Manning already 5 touchdown passes on the day. You saw that last series where Peyton took a pretty big shot.
You put Brock Osweiler in the game and immediately improves your rebounding. Nice kick by King. Isaiah Burst, fair catch called for and made at about the 26-yard line. And from on high, once again, our aerial coverage today being provided by MetLife. A beautiful scene, just not a great outcome for the Oakland Raiders and their fans.
Yeah, we came rolling in this morning. There was quite a few people out there tailgating, getting ready to go. The smoke was lifting up through the parking lot. There was some excitement. This rivalry is a storied traditional rivalry, and with the way this game started, getting a couple of quick turnovers, getting the 10 points there in the first part of the game to, we thought we had ourselves a really good game there at the beginning.
Well, a good tailgate doesn't know the meaning of a losing streak, does it? So from their own 26-yard line, Manning still at quarterback. And the give is to C.J. Anderson. Just a little while ago, Brock Osweiler, the third-year quarterback, kind of had a hunch he was going to get into the game, and he's kind of wrong.
Oh, he had the smile on his face. You see him, he took the hat off. He was excited. Here I get to go.
Brock Osweiler is 0 for 1 throwing the football this season. I got a feeling when he gets in there, he's really not going to throw it anyway, so maybe he'll see action here in the fourth quarter as time winds down in the third. 41-10 Broncos. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Along with our producer, Bob Monsbach, our director, Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Evan Washburn, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew here in Oakland as we start the fourth quarter. Denver with a 41-10 lead, and Peyton Manning's work for the day is done. His 9th career game with 5 touchdown passes. That is an NFL record. He breaks the tie with Drew Brees. And Brock Osweiler, the third-year quarterback out of Arizona State, throwing the slant. Incomplete, intended for Thomas, Demarius Thomas.
Good coverage by McGill there, undercutting the slant route. Were you surprised a little bit that Osweiler throwing the ball? I thought they'd come in and hand it off that first snap, so they're not changing their philosophy.
Would it be great if it was a run that was called and he just audible to the pass? 3rd and 9. Osweiler standing 6'8", 240 pounds.
False start, number 65 offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Louis Vasquez guilty of the early move. How about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TD passes?
Well, this first one, Anderson gets a little one-handed back shoulder catch and is able to convert it, breaking 4 tackles to get it in. Then Sanders, then Thomas, and Thomas will get another one, flipping the football up to his family up in the stands, and then one more time to Sanders in the middle of the field. Start off shaky with those 2 interceptions, but definitely finish strong.
Pass underneath, that is complete to Demarius Thomas. And that'll be short of a first down, and the punting unit will come on.
And really, if you think of those 2 interceptions, the only one that stands out to me is the one he threw into triple cover. That first interception, he tried squeezing into coverage, and the second one, Tuck just made an incredible play, jumping up on tipping it at the line of scrimmage, then diving and making the interception.
4th and 9, Britton Colquitt kicking to Denarius Moore. Fair catch called for and made at the 36-yard line. 14:07 to play in the fourth. 41-10. we remind you, coming up after the game, time permitting, the Subway postgame show. JB and company with all the latest scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Derek Carr going to hand this one to Latavius Murray for not very much before Von Miller makes the hit. It has been a dismal day for the Raiders. 12 offensive possessions, 7 3-and-outs, 3 turnovers, a touchdown and a field goal. And staring 0-9 right in the face. Murray going the other way. Spinning across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Some numbers from around the league. Ben Roethlisberger held to a single touchdown and 2 interceptions in the loss to the New York Jets. Mark Ingram, 120 yards in a losing effort against San Francisco. And Des Bryant finding London very much to his liking. 3rd and 6. Carr trying to step out of the way. On the move, looking, throwing it away.
Well, Greg, 3rd and 6, that's been a recurring theme most of the day. You mentioned how many times they've had 3-and-outs, and with 3rd down, not having any effectiveness running the football, only 20 yards of rushing. You end up in 3rd and long quite a bit.
When we talked with Tony Sperano, he had lots and lots of numbers to support his contention that this team was about to turn it around, but none of those numbers have come bubbling to the top today.
Well, and I got that from the players we talked to as well. They were all very positive about this team getting better. They were making progress on both sides of the ball. Early on, they were definitely in the game. It just they weren't able to hold it together once they started having turnovers, and defensively, Peyton Manning attacked them.
Yeah, a little early prosperity didn't help them much. 12:43 to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx One Rate. Simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx. Best Buy. And by Lexus and their pursuit of perfection.
Yet another example of a child doing something I can't possibly dream of doing. Out by Lake Merritt here in Oakland. 1st down. Osweiler giving to Anderson, and Anderson bursting through the right side to about the 25-yard line. A reminder coming up after the game. Time permitting, the Subway postgame show. JB and the guys in New York with all the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. C.J. Anderson, 155 total yards. For the 2nd year back for Cal. Going to add to it here. Out to about the 30. That'll be about a yard short of a 1st down.
This is more of what I expected the last time Osweiler came in the game, is some handoffs and try and keep this clock running. And
yeah, he came out throwing.
He did. He came out firing. He's like, hey, listen, I've had 1 attempt on the season. I'm gonna fire this thing. So.
3rd and 1. See if Anderson gets the call again here. And he does. And reaching for the 1st down, and looks like he might have it.
C.J. Anderson.
And it is 1st down as we come up on 11 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
And if you think how this game started off with the 2 turnovers, and with Oakland there was bounce in their step, and now all of a sudden you just see their body language, and they're thinking, okay, when is this streak going to end? When are we going to win a football game with positive things happening in the beginning of this one? Then all of a sudden everything started rolling against them.
Cody Latimer with the catch on the near sideline and bounced out of bounds right around the 40-yard line and just shy of another first down.
Greg, you're familiar with where Cody Latimer went to school, aren't you? It's a football powerhouse that I went to, Indiana.
Well, not if you ask Rex Ryan.
That's right.
Rex Ryan says you went to West Virginia.
That's right. But Cody Latimer did a nice job there, getting the ball, getting up the field. And
second and 1, and Juwan Thompson with a first down, and the ball came out, but it's covered by Denver. That Rex Ryan reference. He for some reason or other, he had it in his head that you went to West Virginia and felt very badly about it when it hit him about halfway back down the hall in the hotel.
Yeah, you know, I just kind of rolled with it when, and this was way back towards the beginning of the season. So we've since had the Jets a couple times, and now it's a big joke. But
you do register as Mark Bolger on occasion in the hotel.
Yeah. So that's my alias, right?
First down for Osweiler and the Broncos. Gonna go deep down this sideline, incomplete. Overthrows Andre Caldwell, and we have a penalty marker down.
Holding. Number 75 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Chris Clark guilty of the hold. I remind you, this week, Thursday Night Football brings you a key AFC East showdown between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. It's Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on NFL Network.
Both those teams had tough losses today, but Ryan Tannehill and that Miami offense is playing much better, and Kyle Orton, since he's taken over for the Bills, is doing some positive things for them as well.
This is Thompson once again at the carry, and with 9:20 to play in the fourth, let's check into New York. JB.
Hey, Greg, Arizona with the best record doesn't have good news here.
Yeah, watch right here as Carson Palmer goes to step up. Watch his left knee. It buckles right there. He goes down, was down for a period of time, was carted off the field. We haven't heard the extent of the injury, but it does not look good for Arizona. St. Louis leads 14-10.
If we get any more information, we'll pass it along, Greg.
All right, JB, thank you. Carson Palmer, the recipient of a brand new deal out in Arizona.
Number 29, Brandon Moss with the hit on
And the Arizona Cardinals are sailing right along in the NFC.
Well, and Carson's a difference maker. I know that Arizona's been through 3 different quarterbacks at point in time because of different injuries that have gone through. Carson Palmer coming back a couple weeks ago and playing very effectively. You mentioned getting that new contract this week, extension for 3 more years, and very unfortunate if this ends up being a long-term injury. Hopefully it's not.
3rd and 17 for Osweiler. On the move. And going to run out of bounds just across the 40-yard line. Evan, to you.
Hey guys, just a couple injury updates. We saw DJ Hayden leave the game with that left groin injury. He's still questionable. He's trying to loosen it up on the bike. He's still in a lot of discomfort, but again, he just hasn't played a lot of football, so any snaps he can get are important. And then on the Broncos sideline, Ronnie Hillman is done for today. Just precautionary, had that left foot that he was dealing with in the first half into the third quarter. His left shoe is untied. He's got a hat, no helmet, so he appears to be done.
All right, Evan, thank you. Colquitt's kick. Denarius Moore back inside his 10-yard line. Trying to turn the corner. Penalty marker flies as he makes his way up the sideline.
Number 17, Denarius Moore on the return. There's a penalty.
Let's see if this comes back. And it will.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 57 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
I believe that's the second one today on Ray Armstrong. Bobby April, not a happy camper. He's the special teams coach. Maurice Jones-Drew watching from the sideline as the penalty sets the Raiders back to their own 6-yard line, and the quick pass outside is going to go nowhere. Let's go down to Evan Washburn. Evan.
Well, guys, there's a lot of De La Salle alums on the field today. You're looking at T.J. Ward, his cousin Maurice Jones-Drew, and they've come into sort of, if there's any more celebrity, with the new movie that was released recently, When the Game Stands Tall, and it tells the story of that historic program in their winning streak. And after this play, I'll sort of update another aspect of that story that has affected T.J. Ward and continues to.
Meanwhile, this is McFadden, and McFadden out to about the 10. Before we do that, Evan, let's get another NFL Today update from New York, guys.
A bit of good news involving the Cardinals.
Yeah, Drew Stanley just came in for Carson Palmer, finds John Brown 48 yards out, and right now Arizona takes the lead 17-14 over St. Louis.
Back to Greg and Trent.
All right, guys, 3rd and 6. Carr going to throw it out to McFadden. McFadden looking for a first down, and see where they mark him. Looks like maybe about a yard short. Evan.
Well, guys, in 2004, T.J. Ward lost his best friend, Terrence Kelly, who was a member of that De La Salle team, and he continues to honor Terrence Kelly. He's got a tattoo of him on his shoulder, TK, and he's involved in the Terrence Kelly Foundation that's run by his father, Landron, and they're in attendance today, and he was telling us last night that some of the kids from that foundation have made their way to De La Salle playing football, so he continues to honor his friend Terrence and what he meant to him back in 2004 when they started here in De La Salle.
It's pretty interesting, Evan, talking to T.J. Ward. I went to De La Salle High School in Chicago. Apparently, I got whacked around a little more than T.J. Ward today. This is Isaiah Burse. And Isaiah Burse across midfield and into Oakland territory. 5:25 to play in the 4th. De La Salle High School, West Coast version.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by M&M's. Chocolate's better with M. And by TD Ameritrade.
Always a sightseeing adventure when you come to Oakland. The bad news is the Raiders are looking at 0-9. There's C.J. Anderson. And it has been a while since they last won. November 17 of last season. How things have changed since then, except the winning ways of the Oakland Raiders.
Well, you can say what you want about the black hole and the fan base and whatever. I always enjoyed coming here and playing in Oakland, and that was because you want to play places where fans are passionate about their football, or at least I did. I enjoyed coming to places that were loud. I enjoyed where the fans really got into it, and of course Oakland fans are very passionate about their football.
Osweiler hit as he released, incomplete. Danico Autry, the rookie free agent out of Mississippi State, with the hit. But yeah, I can understand that, Trent. It's fun to play in front of fans like that.
You do. You just when you come out of the locker room for warm-ups and you people are already there. When you come into the parking lot and people are already there, and just throughout the course of the game, yeah, there may be some colorful language you hear on the sidelines, but that's all part of it. That just means that people have a passion for what they're trying to support,
and good for them. 3rd and 8. That's incomplete, in and out of the hands of C.J. Anderson. Once again to New York for an update. JB,
Marshawn Lynch is truly in beast mode.
Yeah, I'd say so. His 4th touchdown of the day, this 16-yard run, puts now Seattle up 31-17. That is beast mode, JB.
Greg, it was nip and tuck. Back to Greg Gumbel.
Looks like it's more tuck now, JP. We could say the same thing about this one. nip and tuck in the first half until things got out of hand, courtesy of Peyton Manning. Denarius Moore back at his own 10-yard line for the kick. And he will let this one go. Oh, how's that for downing a football?
That's when it's bouncing your way right there.
Omar Bolden short hops it at the 3-yard line. That's unbelievable. Gets blocked, and that's how you do it. Those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, our game between the Denver Broncos and Oakland Raiders, along with Trent Green and Evan Washburn. I'm Greg Gumbel. 41-10, Broncos in the lead. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after this game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. I'm serious. You could break a finger short hopping a football like that.
You could. That was very similar to a third baseman sometimes waving their glove at a ball, not seeing it in.
No, third baseman have a glove. That's the difference. Take a peek ahead for the Denver Broncos. Not exactly a chip shot from now until the end of the season. They've got Oakland again. Cincinnati, you don't know how they're going to show up. They have been so up and down.
Kansas City played them well in Denver earlier this year.
On 2nd and 9, Carr pulls it down several times and then hits Jones-Drew over the middle. And he'll have about another 3 yards for a first down. Let's see where they spot it. No. 3rd and 2. We are under 3.5 minutes to play. Big day for Julius Thomas, the fine tight end of the Broncos. Carr going to loft it down the far sideline. Leaping and making the catch is Denarius Moore, and now taken away. Let's see. The officials confer on the far side of the field. Where are they going to rule?
They're going to say dual possession Raiders ball is going to be my call.
You got it.
Number 17, Denarius Moore on the reception.
They go up for it. Denarius is able to come down with it, and as it's secured, they both have it. Now, once he's already down,
28 yards on that.
then they wrestle the ball away from him. Roby wrestles the ball away from him, but when contact was made with the ground, that's dual possession. It's got to go to the offensive player.
So John Fox will challenge, and standing by in New York, gosh, we haven't seen him all day, but because there hasn't been much controversy here, our officiating expert, Mike Carey. Mike, you saw the play. What'd you think?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's not a simultaneous catch because the offense has clear control in the air, but in the process of going to the ground, it gets wrestled away by the defense. So the question is, did he have control while he was upright long enough to maintain a catch, or is he going to the ground in the process? And that'll be really interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah, you don't see this very often, do you?
No, not very much at all. And my opinion is that their ruling on the field is going to stand because there's not enough evidence to decide which way or the other this happened.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Gosh, that would put Trent Green and Mike Carey on the same side of the fence on this one.
He used different terminology. It wasn't dual possession at the beginning.
The ruling on the field stands. First down, Oakland.
And they're both
Denver
right.
will be charged with their first timeout.
Our guys are always right, except when they're not. So there's Denarius Moore with the grab.
At least that's all we want to talk about is the time. Sure. Right.
Nice play by Bradley Roby. It's just that he didn't wrest the ball away in time. Carr. Over the middle. That's complete. Michael Rivera. And Rivera to about the 35 for another first down as we come up on 2.5 to play. So now the best records in the AFC, New England and Denver will share that 7-2 mark. Cleveland, Kansas City, Indianapolis right behind them at 6-3.
When we saw that New England and Denver are tied, clearly New England has the advantage because of the tiebreaker, them playing last week head-to-head, New England with the win.
That pass to the near side, and again, that's Rivera, and Rivera brought to a full stop at the 30-yard line, and we'll take our break with 2 minutes to play here in Oakland. Long day for number 4. A reminder, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a reporting trip to the Ebola hot zone. That's followed by new episodes of Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, and CSI, only CBS. 2 minutes to play here in Oakland. And a much happier Peyton Manning on the sideline. Good pass, far side of the field, Vincent Brown. And the clock continues to move.
You can see there the aggressiveness of Denver's defense. They still have a number of their players at the line, at or near the line of scrimmage, not looking to give up any more points to the Raiders. The only points they've gotten are off those turnovers in the first half. And 9 defenders all within the line of scrimmage box there.
3rd and 1. Carr avoids the rush, completes the pass, and inside the 20 to about the 17 or 18-yard line is Vincent Brown. John Elway. Ready to be a part of the happy Broncos who are pleased to be back in the win column. They took that loss at New England hard.
They did. The whole organization did, really. And you know, John Fox was talking to us about that last night, just the approach they had during the week.
There's a touchdown pass over the middle to Michael Rivera.
Well, there's something positive for Oakland to take with them into next week. Derek Carr standing in there, leading up a nice drive down the field, and he's getting Rivera down the middle of the field. Safeties roll into a cover 2, so it's 1-on-1 down the middle with TJ Ward. Puts that high and on the back shoulder to where only Rivera can make that catch.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Derek Carr. And looks like that might have been a quick snap.
The ball was not marked ready for play. The try will be attempted again.
So Janikowski will do that all over. Meanwhile, Derek Carr now up to 13 touchdown passes in his rookie season. So 48 seconds on the clock. And Denver's lead now 41-17. Derek Carr on the money to Michael Rivera. You know, there's some people who might think that that's pretty meaningless, but you said just a moment ago that's something for them to take with them, and I wonder how seriously do players consider that?
Well, I think you have to, and this is such a young team, and they're growing and progressing every week. We talk to the players, we talk to the coaches about the respect that Derek Carr has in the locker room, the respect that he carries in the meeting room, on the practice field, and on game day. Just how much everybody values him and understands that he's the quarterback here, that he's the future of this organization.
Just a reminder, 60 Minutes coming up next, except for those of you on the West Coast who will be seeing it at its regularly scheduled time. So 2 touchdown passes today for Derek Carr, 5 for his opposite number on the Denver sideline, Peyton Manning. Gronkowski, a little onside kick attempt, recovered by the Broncos. Andre Caldwell with the recovery. How was Peyton's day, Trent?
Well, it started off here. Anderson does a nice one-handed grab. He's able to break through 4 different tackles, and that kind of got his day going. He had a couple interceptions early, did Peyton Manning, but then pouring it on, and with 5 touchdown passes, 2 to Emmanuel Sanders, 2 to Julius Thomas, and just overall got dialed in. 31 of 44, 340 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'd say after those 2 picks, he definitely got things going the way he's used to.
But you know he will gripe about those 2 picks.
He will. That'll lead him up, and that's why he's so great.
One more snap. The Broncos will move to 7-2. And the Oakland Raiders will fall to 0-9.
Well, and I think if you talk to Peyton Manning, he's going to be focused in on getting ready for the St. Louis Rams at St. Louis. They played very well at home. They have a good defense. They can pressure the quarterback.
And it will be a road game, and they have said they haven't played particularly well on the road. They're only 2-2 now.
And that was one of the things he talked about coming into this game. They were 1-2 on the road. They wanted to learn. They said we need to get road wins. We need to get better at that. And John Fox is like, well, I tend to think it's about who you play on the road. Having lost at Seattle and at New England had more to do with it than what Peyton was talking about.
There's your final score. The Denver Broncos 41, the Oakland Raiders 17. A reminder once again tonight on CBS. It's 60 Minutes, followed by Madam Secretary, The Good Wife, and CSI. Raiders 7-2. They wish they're 0-9 on the year. Denver, the winner. For Trent and Evan and all of us, Greg Gumbel. So long from Oakland. You've been watching